I got a big tournament. I got a lot of terrain I got to build. I never unplugged that yesterday. Fuck me. Well, I got a shitload of terrain I got to build. I got a bunch of foam already cut. I'm about halfway through the project. My family came through and did some of the painting during the day for me. Ugh. All right. Put that on the table in there. Okay. Because I'm just going to take it out and spray paint it tomorrow. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Table and down in the living room. Get the big board and the two things later. Because I don't have my shoes on. And that's a whole thing. Yeah. I get the big board. I mean, they just need to come in the living room because they're going to go right back out there tomorrow. Okay. Because that's the thing. Tomorrow, today, I'm going to have a bunch more stuff built. I'm going to want you to do the same thing to it. If you love me, you won't complain. Man, I love dad guilt. Dad guilt is the best. You care about dad guilt? If you love me, you do it. Dad guilt's the best. What's up, my buddy Ben? So, oh no, my lady loves me. She helped paint up the undercoating. This is all going to be covered up, but she got all the undercoating done on these so I can spray them tomorrow and make them all nice and firm. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So I got to build a bunch more to finish up for this weekend. And then tomorrow will just be paint day. Yeah, but I didn't know if you'd like it. They didn't have the normal plain chicken. So I got some pasta salad for you. And I got some extra bread. You're welcome. There's also some potato chips if you want some. Yeah, if you want some of those, you can have some of those too. Hello, Tina. Hello, Ben. Good to see both of you, my friends. Thank you, my son. So the nice thing about a project like this is if you have it all planned out, the assembly part is actually very quick. I built like 30 pieces last night. You are excellent. Dude, I've been loving them so far. They're really, really, I mean, you know I love your painting to begin with, but they are just fabulous. Beautiful, beautiful figures. Oh, God. There we go. Terrain door needs to go. Excellent. Oh, no, I don't need any more of these. That's excellent. All right. So now we just grab. So that was a nice thing about this project was that I just pre-cut everything. And then all I have to do is just have a box there of all my random cut down. And then just low temp hot glue. Doomfire Warlocks. gonna do for Warlocks? Is that? I mean, obviously it's Age of Sigmar. Is that Age of Sigmar Underworlds, or is that part of like one of the new faction dudes? I didn't think those were out yet, so it's probably. I'm guessing it's probably something for Underworlds. I don't know who that is. Cavalry DOK. Okay. Oh, DOK. I didn't realize they had cavalry. Were those Huh. What are they riding? Are they on horses? Or are they riding like stags or something crazy? Actually, I imagine they wouldn't be riding stags because that would be Sylvaneth riding stags. Oh, so, and they're dudes, which is really crazy for Daughters of Cain because they don't like dudes. They're on horses, huh? I have to look those up. I know Shan. They're magic guys. Well, they're warlocks, obviously. So they're wizards on horseback. Well, that's cool. Now, are you guys coming to watch the tournament tomorrow on Saturday, I should say? You guys can at least come and watch, or I won't imagine you'd be there all day, obviously. That'd be cool. Yeah, Lady D actually has a day off from work, so she's going to be coming as well, which I'm super excited about. No, I just want a small scoop. That's fine. Thank you, babe. Put it right there. Thank you, buddy. I grabbed it all. Excellent. Enjoy. Thank you again for today, and I'm pre-thanking you for tomorrow. Well, you won't have to try with me. I'm gonna buy some more Underworlds. I really want to. I like the fast pace of it. And I bought the card expansion pack just to get some extra cards for a couple of the armies. Yeah, I think we go this way. It's all in the car. I actually have the entirety of it in the car just for that purpose. And it sounds like she's going to try and get Wormy, my buddy Wormy, to come. Who I don't know if you guys have met yet, but he's a big board game guy. So we're going to try and get him to come. And since it's a board-like game, he will definitely be into that. So that's another part of the goal there. That should be mostly flat now. Perfect. Excellent. That was what we're going for. All right. And few on there, actually. We can trim it afterwards. There we go. Nice front piece. Right through there. And then right through there. Right through there. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah. There. Nice ruined chunk of floor out of the way. Yeah. And then we trim some of this back. Imagine having a son that abandons you to run some lame role-playing game. Part of the process I like about this is having a plan. And I do appreciate it. One of the things I love about building terrain is having a definite plan. One of the other things I love about building terrain is being willing to go, well, that's not working. We got to fix this, and doing something utterly different. I had this plan, and I realized I made the buildings a little too big, a little too generously big. Well, mine tries to. I won't let him. Don't get me wrong. He used to. I don't cotton to that crap anymore. My boy is here, be home, and hang out with his family, hang out with his father. I understand he's going to have his own life, and that's fine. He's allowed. But, hey, what's up?
Oh, I'm just saying.
Hey. Live streaming.
I know.
Oh, okay. He wanted to. Well, I mean, when he went to Georgia. When he decided to come back, I made it clear to him that part of coming back meant being part of the family. So family activities were important. And so, which is why he's doing 40K Saturdays with me. I don't know if he's coming tomorrow because he's not playing in the tournament, but I should make him come so he can come play Underworlds. Because I am a great big jerk like that. Yeah. But, you know, post-teenagers are going to do what post-teenagers are going to do. He's not completely lame, but he tries. Nah, he's all right. He's all right. I don't want to give him too much crap. I already gave him enough reasons to need to go to therapy. I don't need to give him more. And put one there. Yeah, there we go. That'll work. Oh, this is why we bought 100 pack of hot glue. The construction adhesive would have gone further, but man, I do not have the time to wait for that crap to dry. I should have got more toothpicks. I'm going to have to go break into the cocktail skewers pretty quickly. There we go. That. Yeah, I know this is thrilling, guys. I figured I haven't had a lot of content lately. I wanted to make some stuff happen. And this would be kind of cool for you guys to see me in maximum build mode. Nice horrible concrete seam there. There we go. And then take a chunk of this. By the way, if anybody's wondering, the music I'm playing is called Death by Dice, Volume 1. It's from the channel Midwinter Minis. He has a great channel for teaching speed painting and doing really cool retro paint jobs and just fun paint jobs. He's also a former musician. He and his lovely wife just had a baby. So feel like going and giving him a support, go give him a subscription and maybe watch a couple of his cool videos. That look all right? Nice little chunk of building there. So I've gone so far as to name these structures Zone Brutalis. Actually named after brutalism, which is a kind of architecture that this is moderately styled after. When I was a kid, among some of my other fanciful pursuits, a good number of people thought I was going to go into architecture because of my love of building and brickwork and understanding architecture and my fascination with architecture. I do. I actually have an honest to goodness fascination. The whole art, of architecture. I find it absolutely just enthralling. My wife thought it was charming because a lot of our first dates were me taking her out to different spots in the city and explaining in great detail some of the architectural history of the lovely city of Milwaukee. Now, what some people may not realize, although I would hope at least a number of Milwaukee natives do, that Milwaukee was the birthplace yeah, and she still married me. Dude, I don't get it. Milwaukee was the birthplace of Frank Lloyd Wright, considered one of the most influential architects of the 20th century. Little hint, I really don't like a lot of his work. It's very... It's hard to use. He made buildings as art, which is fine, but one of the main focuses of architecture should be the building should be pretty, but the building should also be functional. And he had a real problem with functionality in his buildings. I think it's kind of notable that I used to work at S.C. Johnson Wax, and their main complex is all designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. And for a guy my size, getting around in some of the staircases and hallways, I actually had to go other routes in some places because he cut through a lot of floors and put these really great brass circular staircases in throughout office buildings. But if you weren't like 5'5" and maybe a $125, you'd have a hard time getting through some of those staircases. There were some staircases you had to take to get the ways, and I literally had to take them sideways because that was the only way I could get up the freaking staircase. Just a nightmare. And again, he built this stuff as art, and he had a vision. And some of this stuff is really great. I mean, Annunciation Church over on 92nd in Hampton, gorgeous, freestanding dome. The entire ceiling is a freestanding dome, no support columns. Beautiful building. They have constant roof problems because of leaks and aging, and it's a pain in the ass. A lot of his American homes, some of them are really pretty, some are really nice, and done. Medium-sized building, one done. I got to build 4 of these. One of his big problems was that, it's a nice-looking building, but again, not very practical. He had a household that he designed with a swimming pool right in the house. This is Wisconsin. In the winter, having a swimming pool in the house meant that room was warped. And in the summer, it meant the whole house was muggy as crap. It just was not a very well-designed situation. Sorry about that. Apollo needs to be brought in. So again, beautiful house, not very practical. So anyhow, yeah, I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to architecture. So there is a school of architecture called the Brutalist School. The idea of Brutalist architecture is exactly that, brutal. It's very Spartan. There's a lot of direct lines, lots of ups and downs, lots of 45 degrees, lots of 90-degree angles. Not a lot of round. Not a lot of curves. The support structures are often designed to be visible. And that the support beams are designed with the idea that they are to be part of the design of the building rather than being an underlayment or a hidden internal feature. Was very popular. A lot of postmodern skyscrapers drew from early 20th century brutalism. And brutalism was sort of a reactionary to the neo-Gothic. In Milwaukee, if you've ever seen there's a lot of neo-Gothic downtown, especially the Northwestern Mutual building, and a lot of the flying buttresses that you see in some of the neo-Gothic and some of the cathedrals. It's actually Gothic and neo-Gothic in a lot of the churches downtown. So a lot of these very tall, very stark, very square buildings with square windows and jutting out pieces that are actually support structures. They're often very dark concrete or deep brick buildings. Brutalism is just, in my mind, it's super functional And it's the beauty of it being so super functional. That's the draw of the building. And brutalism eventually migrated to being not as popular as neo-modernism and monolithic buildings, much like the U.S. Bank building in downtown Milwaukee. And I name these because if you're watching this channel, and I'm not a encyclopedia of this stuff, so I'm probably wrong in a couple of my. Started using a lot more glass, but you were still a lot of uprights, a lot of 45s, a lot of 90-degree angles, very, very straight up and down. So my thought was, and this goes back to the mentality behind what I'm building here, the idea was that when a building was designed for the empire, obviously had church function, if it had function to the government, of course it was neo-Gothic, because that was the sign of the imperium, that was the sign of, the emperor's grace. But we gotta house 10 billion people on this planet. They're just chattel workers. They don't need to live someplace beautiful and nice. And if you read some of the stuff, like some of the hive cities, you realize hab blocks are often terrifying constructs. And that made me think that they use a lot of brutalism-styled architecture. So the idea that I built for this city, or this terrain I'm building, this zone brutalis, it's literally a bunch of very stark, very up and down, very plain, but beautiful in their plain and starkness type buildings that were designed as a habitation block. So this is literally supposed to be a bombed out place where people lived at some point. I thought it was cool, but I'm a nerd. Let's see here. The nice thing about brutalism is that a lot of the buildings are, at least to replicate them, the buildings are very simple. And that's part of their utilitarian draw. You'll find a lot of factories around the end of the 18th century. I mean, the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century relied on brutalism. Because they were buildings built for function, not for beauty's sake. And oftentimes factories were built at the behest of the company who wanted them. And brutalism techniques were simplistic and cheap. So why not use them? And again, that goes back to why I'm using brutalism for the empire. Because these are for people. We don't care about them. They need to have some place where they can live. Slabs of concrete bolted together and held up so the toxins that fall out of the sky don't instantly kill them long enough for them to make our guns and our armor. Long live the emperor. The other thought is that if these buildings, some of these may have been built before the Great Crusade, they were built for habitation. Strictly habitation in the early days of building in space. So, again, you want to minimize costs. And look at that. This is how easily these get built. Dun, dun, dun. That goes to there, that'll go there. Oh, yeah, I wanted to leave some out there. Oh, excellent. Heh. There. We got that there. We take a chunk of this. And just kind of throw it on there. Well, that'll be great. Look at that. Nice chunk. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Loving this coming together. We just glue this one there. And that really is kind of the joy of this project, is that I don't have to. I have some basic rules by which my buildings have to be built. But I can just kind of wing it for a large portion of the buildings as well. Nice falling over chunk there works. I do have to say, though, in response to your comment, though, Ben, I'm happy to say that my love and passion of architecture rubbed off a bit on my wife, which I thought was cool. She actually started really getting into some of the stuff I talked about, which I dug. You know, gave me a reason to actually want to marry her and keep her around. Not that you'd know what that's like. Still trying to figure out how you bribe Tina. Oof. Do. It's all about the Benjamins. Wow, Ben, that's a corny dad joke, even for you. uh, oh no, it's all good, man. It's all good. Now the secret's out. Oh, all the ladies love a guy with a confident brush. Show her those elite nerd skills, and they're stuck for life with you. I think when I make like a fancy set of these for myself, because I will be doing that eventually, because I really do love this design. I think when I make the fancy set for myself, I'm going to actually make it a point to give myself more time so I can give them a coat of spackle and actually do some layering of some sand and some other textures on here to really kind of dress them up a bit. do have a nice long one. Excellent. There we go. Wish you knew where my normal low temp gun is. Couldn't find my normal low temp gun, so I had to borrow the Kender's. And her low temp gun uses the little sticks, which I like the little sticks, but when you're using them for big projects, you go through a lot of glue really fast. Like, really super fast. And I'm going to throw a roof on this one. And our second medium building is done. Like I said, that's the beauty of this design. I mean, they build up super fast. And you can use scraps for everything. Now, I could just cut this clean. But when you want to get a nice jagged edge, I just want wiggling the knife. I could have gone wider there. Oh well. Again, it's the beauty of being deconstructionist in nature. Can rip and tear and rip, tear and shred, and it still looks good. Medium building 2 number done. Medium building number 2 done. Hey, Casey. Good to see you there, buddy. Do. Thank you, Casey. I'm trying to get these cranked out for this tournament this weekend. I'm just kind of trying to speed build as much of this as I can. Do. The nice thing is, with a heavy coat of acrylic paint, like a heavy coat of acrylic craft paint underneath, and then a moderate coat of spray lacquer, and then a third coat of sealant spray lacquer if I get around to doing the wash work I want to do on these things. I just want to do a wash on them. If I can get that on them, these should be sturdy and able to be played for years to come. So our little game club, which is funny because earlier this year, we were talking as a club about buying a bunch of terrain and painting it up ourselves and having it dedicated to the club, so the club would always have terrain for playing on. And there was all this debate back and forth of how to do this, how to do that, and who wanted to pay for what, who was willing to pay for what. And my whole point was that I like the plastic stuff for fancy looks, because the plastic stuff is very pretty. I'm not going to ever deny that Games Workshop doesn't make beautiful models. But with the price point on some of their plastic kits being what it is, people realized that in 9th edition rules, even if they went minimalist, and with the cheapest route possible, using the plastic kits. A properly outfitted 9th edition board was going to be about $300 worth of plastic. And then someone was going to have to be the keeper of it and be responsible for it. And don't nobody want that drama. And then you go back to the whole thing that, again, it was about going to be about $300 to buy it. And I'm like, well, who's got that kind of money? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, you know, this is the thing, guys. If you got in this hobby, you knew it wasn't cheap. So, decisions were made. I just decided to heck with it. You don't think money was the issue? I know a lot of people balked at the money. I know, Ben, you and I and Jason didn't, but there were a number of people who were like, that's a lot of money. I don't have that kind of money. Well, maybe we can buy a piece and no. Who's going to keep it? Who's going to be responsible for it? I mean, there were a number of reasons. It wasn't just the money thing. But I guess I seem to remember that conversation going a very different way. But again, I was of the opinion that I honestly didn't think it was going to happen, to be blunt anyhow. Our entire little community at times has commitment issues, in my opinion. Everybody likes talking. Everybody likes talking. There's a number of people that like to talk, but don't want to have to act. And that was the way I took it. I mean, I could be wrong. I fully admit I could be completely wrong on that one. I don't think I am, though. And I think a lot of it comes from the demographic that our gaming club kind of is. You've got a number of older gentlemen like you and me and Jason that recognize that this hobby is a bit of a commitment. And are able to make and willing to make grown-up commitments about things. And there's other members of the club, and there's nothing anything wrong with it. And I don't want this to come off as anything wrong about it. There's nothing wrong with it. That they just want to play and not have to think about it. If they get together and they play, they want to play, and they want to worry about their models, they want to worry about their armies, and they don't want to have to worry about a lot of the secondary aspects of the hobby. And I get that. I remember being that age myself. Yeah. Yeah. That was one of my biggest things that I noticed. And I never come out. But man, he didn't like the idea of. Yeah, I was a little frustrated by that myself. But again, that's what kind of led me down this path to just start building some terrain and talking with one of the people organizing a tournament to just, hey, I want a tournament. We need terrain. Let me build some terrain. I mean, ultimately, this was my plan to begin with. If we had actually, as a club, decided to do the terrain thing, I'd even made the point. It's like, I run a channel that teaches people how to make good and good-looking and sturdy wargaming terrain. Yeah, the plastic's nice because it's easy, but this is what I do, man. This is what I do. Yeah, I'll also be honest. That gentleman that never comes out yet had a lot of problems with some of the stuff people doing. You know, there are certain people of our community who I love when they get all ranty because they can get a little ranty, kind of crazy ranty. But at least when they're in their rant mode, most of their arguments are still in a world relatable to logic. That guy the guy we're talking about, when he was making some of the complaints about, the guy that never comes out and, why blah, blah, this, that, and the other thing, and why we shouldn't, and who's going to be charged, all the, most of his arguments were based on most of his complaints and arguments were based on an alternate reality that I have never actually encountered. Not in this community. I'll also be honest, when one of his complaints also kind of bothered me because he had a problem with a member of the community because a friend of his had complained about him, and the reality behind that wasn't possible because the person wasn't even at the time in the situation. It was like, And I'm cool. If you want to be antisocial and not be part of a group, cool. I'm cool with it. That's on you. That's your choice. It's one of the beautiful things about this country. You are free to be who you want to be. When you start making made-up excuses that have no bearing on reality, get out. Get out. Get out. I do not expect people to have the same politics as I do, and that's fine. But I expect you, we both live in the same reality. We need to play by the same rules of reality. There's just, you don't get to make up time, space, and matter on your own. That's not how that works. Speaking of guys that never come out, how's your brother doing? No, seriousness. Tell your brother I miss him. He's a good guy. I miss his company. He's fun to talk to. God, I hate that. I'm not a fan of this gun. I mean, it's heavy duty, but the feed stuck way too easily. Look at that. Medium building. Medium building 3. Done.